Wholeness, beautiful beings, welcome to Notes of Nara. I am still here, I'm still alive. It has just been really crazy month. March has been March Madness for real. Um, but I'm surviving it. I'm finding my sanity. Mental health, very important. And so today about accountability, like always, it's on this journey of doing inner work. Um, okay, I gotta take these leggings off, excuse me. In, in this journey of inner work and really just taking the time to review myself, knowing my why. Um, Knowing my why, I think, is going to be a big one for April. But I am so excited for the next topic next month, starting in April all the way to April 1st to 31st, I think. So, but today, accountability. So the title that we have, subject that we have, no one cares more about your wealth, health, or joy than you. You have to remember this. No one will ever love you more than you. We can convince ourselves until we're blue in the face. And yes, external love, meaning in the form of a lover, a husband, a friend, a best friend, a family member, will always say, I love you so much. I love you so much. And your cup, if balanced, should be able to receive all of that love from this loved one. But you must remember, no one can fulfill you or fill your cup as much as you can for yourself. No one will care about your well-being as much as you should. I find that um, you know, we will we oftentimes, especially if we care very deeply for someone else outside of ourselves, um, we will begin to, and they're going through a struggling time, you want to be supportive, right? You want to show support, you want to show stability, you want to show that you're there, that you're sharing your compassion and your patience. And then you reach a point where that person is so depleted and so down, and it's you that is filling them. It's you that's fulfilling their needs and their wants, their desires. And so you're there to sustain them for a time until you become depleted, until you begin to neglect the self. And we must understand, that's unhealthy as well. We trick ourselves that to believe that someone's capable of loving us more than we love ourselves. Or the great line I have heard from lovers in the past, I don't deserve you. Listen to that. Run the opposite direction when you hear a man or a woman say, oh, I don't deserve you. You're just too good. You're too nice. I don't take that as a joke at all. Because that's them sharing a truth with you. And when someone says you're just too good for me, yes I am, and keep it moving. That they're telling you, you're of such a high standard that I can't match. So I'm going to tell you that I am not good enough for you and that you need to move on. But most of the time, especially with women, we stick around anyway, right? Well, let me prove you wrong. You are deserving of my love. And then in the long run, it turns out that that's not the case. You must always understand that no one's going to take care of your health as best as you can. You have this vessel. And I'm not talking about aiming for the perfect body, aiming for the perfect state of mind, aiming for the perfect way to love, aiming for the perfect way to be spiritual or religious. I'm not talking about perfectionism. I'm talking about this radical self-acceptance of the self, this vessel that we're in temporarily, okay? You must understand health is wealth. And with that, you don't jeopardize your health. Once your health is gone, it's gone. I've seen this for a solid year working in General Hospital. Um, and it was so overwhelmingly obvious the repercussions of neglecting our our body's needs. Our body speaks to us. Our body's always speaking to us. Our breath is always speaking to us. Our emotions, energy, emotion, our feelings are always speaking to us. But we ignore it. We ignore the pain. We ignore it. We become numb to it all. And a lot of the time we'll put someone else before ourselves. And because it's very virtuous to say, "Oh, I love you so much. I'm willing to sacrifice myself for you." There's something that's so just there's valor. It's so, what's the word? It's like, wow, look at this. He's able to completely neglect his finances for me. He's able to completely neglect his own physical needs for me. Or she's able to completely neglect her dreams and put her dreams on the back burner for me. Wow, right? And then we're wondering, we're shocked why it's never reciprocated at the same magnitude or at the same impact, right? When you understand this and you place yourself first, it's you are then able to really stand from a centered, grounded, integrated space. When you're standing on your own 2 feet, you're firm in your life. You stand firm in your life when you put yourself first. It is not a selfish act. It's not a selfish act. It's selfish to be codependent on someone. It's selfish to be so dependent on someone emotionally or psychically or physically, mentally, emotionally, to the point where you are destitute without the other person. And this can be family relationships, a parent to a child, a lover to a lover, a friend to a friend, even with jobs, the employer between the employer and the employee, it's toxicity. I think begins to manifest when you completely check out. You check out from tuning in. And so with health, wealth, abundance, joy, creativity, self-awareness, empowerment, these are things I feel like are medicines to the soul. Remember when I made the series on the soul and how the soul is infinite, it cannot die, it's like this beautiful infinite consciousness, like there is no birth or no death. And the spirit is what needs to be maintained to keep that channel clear, right? We have to do the spiritual work, the rituals of spirit, so that we can hear and feel and receive imprints and insights from the soul. So it is a form of accountability to care about your health and your wealth, right? To me, health is wealth. Doesn't really matter if you're a very or extremely wealthy person, you have a poor, unhealthy body, all that wealth means nothing. It truly doesn't. I'd rather have a very as healthy as my body could possibly be for a 36, 37-year-old woman than have 36, 37 million dollars and be in poor health. I mean, absolutely poor health. Like your respiratory rate is like 16. Or no, not 16, no, 12. Okay, you're on oxygen. You're not able to walk right. Your skeletal system is jacked up. Your circulatory or your cardiovascular system is jacked up. Your sugar is out of whack. These are things that, sometimes it gets so far in balance that it's permanent and you have to live with that. But yet you're a millionaire, multi-millionaire. Ooh, it doesn't do anything. It's the quality of life, I feel like, that makes life worth living. And many of us have to work with the vessels that we're born with. I've shared with you about my TBI from, when I was a very, very, very young child. And so there are some physical limitations, but at the same time, I make do with what I got. We all have to make do with what we have, what we're blessed with, what we're gifted with. It is a blessing to be able to speak to you in this way and to communicate and to share, and all that this body has gone through all those years ago. And people who are bound, wheelchair bound, right, or human beings in a wheelchair, I should say, they it's limited, but there are other areas of their life that could be incredibly expansive. It's all meant to be incredibly diverse, and there's tons of different varieties of having a human experience. There's no typical way to be, and I feel that's what it's like in this reality. We're like little pinballs in a pinball machine, going everywhere which way they say. Go left, go right, go right, go left, go up, go down, turn around. It's like we're all ding 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 all over the place. And so I'm finding that, you take a step back and you look at the machine, you look at the pinball machine as it is, right? We are all meant to have specific, unique experiences, and that's it. That's it. That we have to hold account for, right? You feel a pain somewhere, get it checked out. That should be top priority. You're not feeling well, get something checked out. Get balanced. Make sure your blood is right. Make sure your sugar levels are right. Make sure your hormones are right. Make sure your bones are right. Your musculatory systems are right. Make sure your cognitive skills are up to par. Make sure that you're not depleted in certain nutrients and minerals. God knows they effed with the food. The food has been tarnished for decades now. And so with all that, I just share that, you can't expect someone to love you more than you can love you. It's just, it's a very sad road to walk down. There are moments in life where you just don't love yourself as much as you should. We all go through those. We all go through. If you haven't yet, you will. Where you're just not in sync with yourself. And that's, if anything, is the greatest test of all. Like, are you still willing to love even when you feel you have nothing left? Right? So yeah, like don't put that on somebody to love you more than you love yourself. That's a very unhealthy, and it keeps you trapped in really abusive, toxic cycles. And so, that's just something to be heartful of, for sure. I'm not quite sure what else to add there. I'm going to give you a great example. The doctor, you go see a doctor and you say, "Doctor, I feel this certain way. Can we run tests?" The doctor says, "All right, let me take this test here. Let me do this. All right, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. This is normal." But you feel intuitively that something isn't normal, something is off. Don't give so much of your autonomy and power away to a doctor just because he's a doctor, she's a doctor. I'm not saying discredit what they're telling you. I'm not saying that, but get that extra test done. There, one thing I will say on my path that I used to just be so intimidated by doctors because they're like, "Oh, I know everything." They don't know everything. A very smart and intelligent doctor would be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what this is. Let me figure it out. Let me do more research. Let's try these tests." And they don't stop until they get an answer. That is the doctor everybody wants. But everybody's very afraid to ask for or to look for, because we're programmed to say, "Oh, we have to take whatever this person of authority has to say over my own intuition or my own gut feeling or even your own research." There's nothing wrong with being your own advocate. You must be your own advocate. No one's going to care. Same as, so that's like on the health, for an example for that, for health. Another example is for your career. Don't you ever put your career in the hands of another employer. Ever. If anything, you give them, you provide skills, then they compensate you for that, obviously. But to put the trajectory of your career in the hands of an employer, absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's very easy to do, especially for younger adults. You know what I'm saying? It takes me almost a year to get a really good feel of personalities, personas, egos, mindsets, values, and principles of people who low key call themselves a leader. I don't just go by face value or what people say anymore at all. It's truth is hidden in action. And your intention is hidden in action. People show you how they respect you by how they treat you. And treating someone is through action. So words are beautiful and useful when they are used with intention. But look and study the actions of people. But as far as your future and your destiny, don't you dare put that in the hands of another. We often will put our heart in the hands of a lover. We will put all of our feelings, all of ourselves, we'll show all of our wounds and all of our vulnerabilities and put that in the hands of another lover. Because we trust them, right? We know that they would never betray us. How dare you? Don't do that. Don't do that. You have no power over who or how a lover or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or wife or significant other partner will treat you in the long run. There's nothing set in stone. You must understand this. From human to human, there's nothing ever set in stone. We can write on a little, sheet of paper and make promises on a contract, right? Just like, it's a business contract. Marriage is a social business contract under the name of God, Okay? It's a societal, it's become more business-like than religious, right? And nowadays, yeah, we put so much faith into our hearts in the hands of another. And we expect, it's all about expectations. You're expecting the doctor to heal you and to do the right test. You're expecting your employer to respect your boundaries and to honor your plans for the future. You expect your lover to be loyal and committed and loving and friendly to you most of the time, but that's not how the game works. That's not how life works at all. At all. It's very, the more solid and centered one can be within the self and with soul and spirit, and aware of the ego, have a certain level of awareness of your ego, the better off you are, because everything around you, it's like, pinball machines. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe in the impermanence of life. Life is forever changing, transitioning, moving all the time. It breaks down, energy breaks down and it builds up again, and it moves to the left and it moves to the right. And sometimes it's a straight line, sometimes it's zigzag, sometimes it's going around in circles, sometimes it's stagnant, sometimes it's moving too fast or too slow. It really deals with perception of energy. But man, like, to truly surrender your autonomy and what makes you a sovereign being really opens you up to a lot of hard lessons that you'll have to learn. And for me, this realization works. It makes more and more sense as time goes by. I used to be one that was very solid on monogamy, one person for the rest of my days. And each relationship I said at the beginning, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my days. Oh, okay, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my days. Oh, that didn't work out. I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my days. Oh, darn, that didn't work out. I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my days. Mind you, I never back to back to back to back. I was never like that, but I need time to heal, to rejuvenate, to reset, to reconnect, to clarify. So it got to a point where it's like, to put that amount of pressure on on a lover or an employer or a doctor, things that you deeply care about and that you keep sacred, and that's a vulnerability for you. Be careful. Be careful. We are the custodians of our body and our human experience. And so dealing especially with people that hold authority, or people that have been in your life for just so long and they could never, be careful with that. Be aware of the impermanence of life. Things change, people expand, people grow closer, people grow separately in different directions. It is what it is. That's what I wanted to share with you all, just to be mindful, heartful, be of the breath, and yeah, just no one. I don't put that pressure on other people to care more about your life than you do. I don't. That's not a good thing. It's you're setting yourself up for sure. Okay. Thank you.